Well, I'm surprised I didn't have an aneurysm while watching this. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 is about Winnie the Pooh, Owl, Piglet, and Tigger as they embark on a murderous rampage in Christopher Robin's hometown to seek revenge on him after he reveals their existence to the world. Hello and welcome back to another review from HLHReviews. Today I will be reviewing Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, the sequel to the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey film, and the second installment of the Twisted Childhood universe. Just to give you guys a quick background, as always, I absolutely hated the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey movie. Without question, the worst horror movie I've seen for as long as I've been on YouTube, and as well, just the worst movie I watched in 2023. So you can pretty much imagine I rolled my eyes from the moment I saw the production stills and even seeing the trailer, because this literally looked like it was going to be the same as the first film. But because I decided to do reviews, I knew the day was going to come when I would be reviewing the movie anyway, regardless of how I was going to feel about it. Just like the first movie, this was released in theaters by Fathom Events, so you're going to get a handful of theaters that are going to screen this for only 3 days. I wouldn't be surprised if this movie is successful that they expanded a little. But luckily, my local AMC theater was playing it, so I walked into this film basically about as pessimistic as you can imagine. I walked into this thinking it was going to be an absolute train wreck, just like the first film was. And I'll say this, it's not good. Okay, it's not a good movie by any means, and it's probably not going to be a movie that I'll watch again, or not unless if I'm just in a weird mood. But, damn, I was genuinely surprised how tolerable enough this was for me, even by comparing it to the first film. Let's go over why. And we're going to start this review off with the buckets of popcorn. The biggest overall good thing about the movie is that it has much better production value than what we got in the first movie, and you can easily tell that in this movie that it's got a bigger budget, and you see that through the gore effects, the way this movie is shot. Most of the time, I'll get to that, and even just seeing how the way these practical effects are done. There's animated sequences in this film that are similar to what we got in the prologue of the first film, and it does a better job of setting up what you can expect from this film. The narration that goes along with them helps those animated sequences, to set the tone of what this film's going for. There's plenty of gore to behold to the viewer, whether that's seeing Pooh using a bear trap on a chain and, pulling it to rip someone's head off, or seeing Tigger claw someone to death. The gore effects, they're a vast improvement than what we got in the first film, which is they just use CG blood for the vast majority of them. So if you're a horror fan and a gore hound, this movie's definitely up your alley. The movie goes into more of a goofy fun than what the previous movie should have went in the first place. You have these one-liners that these characters give out, and some of it was, I'll admit, hard to sit through, but it's there. You can easily tell they're trying to be a little bit more goofy with this one. They even retconned the first movie into having it be a movie that was made in this universe, kind of similar to the fictional Stab films in the Scream franchise. And they retconned this in a way where they're just basically saying, yeah, guys, that piece of shit film that we made a year earlier, yeah, that's just a movie that exists in this universe, just so they can capitalize on the 100 Acre Murders. Now, I'll get into a little bit on how they could have made it a little bit funnier. But yeah, you can easily tell in this movie they're trying to go for more of a goofy fun with the concept. And definitely one of the bigger improvements on in this film for me, rather, and that is the acting. Mostly everybody in this film is a bigger upgrade than what we got from the cast in the previous movie, especially that guy who played Christopher Robin, who could not act for shit. You know, you have Simon Cowell in this film, the biggest credibility of an actor they have. And, you know, he does good. I mean, he does what you expect him to do. And then you have this Scott Chambers guy. I think he's going to be the director for the Peter Pan horror film that, you know, this company is making. And he actually does a good job playing Christopher Robin. And damn it. Comparing this guy to the guy who played him in the first film, Scott Chambers deserves an Oscar just by comparing the two. He does a good job of emoting more, and he's able to show how traumatized Christopher Robin was from the events of the massacre, especially for just how everybody gives him shit for, you know, the massacre and just totally not believing in him. So overall, acting a bigger upgrade than what we got in the first film.
Good, I think.
And to help go along with that is the development that Christopher Robin gets in this film. He has this backstory of how he met Winnie the Pooh, and there's a twist to that, which I'll get into. With how traumatized he was from the massacre and how, you know, people always talk shit about him, and that just makes his trauma even worse for him. And you do kind of root for this guy to, you know, be the victor in all of this, just so he can stop Winnie the Pooh and his gang from murdering any more people. And this is where I'm going to get into spoiler territory, so just pause the video, watch the film, and then come back to this. The twists that they do in this, involving how Winnie the Pooh and his gang they're not exactly the characters that we all know and love. And it's much better executed and much more interesting than what we got in the first film. Because you have this scientist who, he and Simon Cowell's character were kidnapping these kids for a genetic experiment. You know, things were going well up until these kids started to show their animalistic nature. So the scientist decides to kill all these kids, you know, before everything goes to hell. Simon Cowell's character basically kills the scientist himself, and he buried the kids and the scientist as well. But the kids don't stay dead for long, as, you know, they rise from the grave and we see what they turned into. And so Christopher Robin becomes friends with them, unaware of their nature, and just also being completely unaware that his brother, who was kidnapped at a birthday party, got turned into Pooh. This was a much better dark twist than just having the gang eat Eeyore because Christopher Robin left them to fend for themselves as he had to grow into adulthood. But now it's time to get into the gas station burritos. The main one here is that while I do think that the kills are gory as hell and they're much better than what we got in the last film, they're not exactly kills that I expected. Like, I kind of wanted them to see kills, like seeing Pooh cutting someone's head off and then throwing it into a honey pot, or especially since we have characters like Al, I would have liked to see Al like pouring boiling tea on someone's head. But no, that's not what I got. Like, it's just kills that, while gory for sure, they're not kills that I wanted or expected, and they don't even make fun or spoof of any of the stuff that we know from the Winnie Pooh character. Which, again, like, why the hell could you not just, like make fun of it? Like, have the kills kind of, like, you know, have some goofy fun with it. Like, I mean, I get that, you know, if you're a gorehound and this is all you want, that's fine, but I kind of want there to be fun with these kills. And you just can't get that with this. And while I did like them, being aware that they made a piece of shit with the first film and they decided to make it a fictional movie in this universe, I think it would have been a lot more amusing if the director or basically any crew member from that first movie were to have cameos where, just like the rest of the town, they were just talking shit on Christopher Robin. That probably would have made the fact that the first movie is just a fictional movie a little bit more humorous, but that's what you get. It's just a film that's a fictional movie in the universe and nothing more beyond that. All right. And now we get into the things that I throw in the dumpster fire. And some of these criticisms, they're going to be carrying over from my review of the first film. And one of them is that the killers, they do not feel, nor do they have the same mannerisms as the characters we all know and love. They're just, again, they're just feral beasts who go out to kill people because they basically hate humanity and Christopher Robin. Like, I like their dark twists and all, but they just don't have the same mannerisms, nor do they take any of that in a dark fashion. Though I do like the practical effects of the costumes, Al literally looks like a bird ripoff of the Creeper from the Jeepers Creepers franchise, like especially with the way his face is designed. Like, it reminded me way too much of the Creeper, to the point where I thought Al was like gonna rip someone's eyes out and he gets new eyes. Sorry if I spoiled the first Jeepers Creepers movie for you. Now, Tigger here reminded me way too much of Freddy Krueger. Like, it's to the point where it just feels like a ripoff. I mean, I like seeing him, like, clawing the shit out of people, but almost every single line he says is, like, it's almost like they were watching A Nightmare on Elm Street and they just said, yeah, you know what? We should have that type of personality into our version of Tigger. And so his lines are basically like this. Oh, fat ass bitch. Let's clip your wings, bitch. Tell 'em Tigger sent you. Okay, I actually made that last one up. Which, by the way, I hate the voices that they gave to these characters. I mean, they always talk like this. And it's in no way, in any way, shape, or form, sounds like the mannerisms of the Winnie the Pooh characters. I know that it's supposed to be a dark version of these characters, and they're supposed to be fucked up, but could you have at least had at the very least had these characters talk kind of similar to what we heard in the Disney movies, but just do darker versions of that? Why the hell do you need to have them all talk like this?
Hello, Christopher. All of Ashdown will burn.
And the lighting, and I don't know if this was just an issue of the theater I went to see this, or if it was just an issue with the film itself, but the lighting at times, like during night scenes especially, it was just so dark to the point where you could barely see shit. I mean, you guys got a bigger budget, but could you not afford to light the night scenes better? Like, what the hell? And there's just editing in this film that's poor. There's a scene where they try to show Pooh running on fours, and you also get another scene where you're seeing Owl in his perspective flying through the woods. And so you're basically in their perspective, like it's the xenomorph from Alien 3 in the hallways. But it just does not work whatsoever, as it felt incredibly jarring to sit through it. And another criticism that, again, carries over from the first film, it's the idiotic decisions that characters make to get them killed. You have this rave party, and, of course, Pooh and Tigger are there to fuck it up. And during this chase scene, one of the guys thinks it's a good idea to hide in this incinerator, to hide from Pooh, and then he just gets his ass burned alive. I mean, I know that you're getting chased by a monster and all, and, there's not many options because your mind goes all over the place, but come the fuck on. Like, just run and get the hell out of the building. And the final criticism that I have is the subplot that involves Christopher Robin's sister that Pooh abducts at the end of the second act. So the whole time, Christopher's, he's trying to find his sister, and, we get to the end, and it's just wrapped up quickly. Like, Christopher Robin never finds his sister. It's the cops that do. And it's literally just thrown away like this. Oh, hi, we found your sister, Christopher. Here she is. And they just get reunited, and you're just sitting there like, how the hell did you do that? And it's just because we never get to see these cops, like, going to find his sister. Like, why the fuck could you not film something like that? Like, have that be, like, a subplot, Have these cops, like, see where Pooh is, like, taking Christopher Robin's sister. And, they have to figure out the pieces in order to, find her and bring her back safely. I mean, it's just, like, why even bother putting that in the film if you're not going to show us the cops, going to find Christopher Robin's sister? So, in conclusion, this was a far better improvement than what I was expecting, especially since how much I hated the first film. But it's just a movie I don't see myself coming back to. I mean, not unless if I'm in a weird mood and I just decide to put it on just to get some schlock-fest entertainment. Look, don't get me wrong. If movies like these, like, they get your ass glued to the seat, go ahead, go ahead, see this in theaters and have some fun with it all you want. It's just, for me personally, if I am in the mood for a slasher film, this and the first film especially, these are never going to be the first things I'd watch. I mean, I'm going to be watching Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and even the Friday the 13th films over this because I just get more entertainment than I do with this and the previous film. I do like the improvements and all, and maybe somewhere down the line I can easily see myself coming back to this company just to, review these movies, but at the same time, am I ever gonna be wanting to pick Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, or even the first film? Like, am I ever gonna be seeing myself watching these two movies as if it's like the next, like, as if it's like the next, like, Halloween or even A Nightmare on Elm Street? Hell no. To wrap this up with my rating, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 is a far better improvement over the first film, even with a darker twist on the silly old bear. But this is a slasher where you have to be in the mood to fully enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please tell me how you feel about this movie down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button to see a lot more videos from me in the near future. Hit the subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you can get notified every single time I upload. I hope you all have a blessed life, and in case I don't ever get to meet you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.